So, it is finally time for me to actually start. Oh, but I broke something, but I didn't. It's time that I'm going to be starting the reads for June. And if you're new here and didn't happen to watch any of the other previous lives about how I'm going to be doing the readings now, well, let me just deal you in. Essentially the same thing, one oracle, one daemon, one dark goddess, and then we get a little bit whimsical with the reads. You're still going to get just one deck for like each sign as before, but you're going to be getting a total of one general, and then a general love, and then after the general love, if you're is for a single, general love if you're potentially with someone, and then we scooch over for essentially if you're having a relationship that's with the same gender, like a gay relationship, and so that way else everybody knows. I will be using the word he for it because with the English language, funny enough, believe it or not, when in doubt, you use the word he if you don't know the gender or whichever. When in doubt, that's what you use. And that's just how the English language is, and that's just what it is. It's not that I'm like being like, well, you can't be considerate. No, that's not the intention behind it. But nonetheless, let's get this show on the road. The oracle cards will be pretty much regarding everybody, and it's only just going to be one. There's not going to be anything too fancy schmancy, if that makes sense. Have one there. Our next one. Okay. Well, for the month of June, Aries, we got this. We have our daemon for you being Zazel, and their dark goddess. Oh, hi, Lilith. So nice to see you here. So, most definitely, June is going to be a month that you're really going to just have to really step up and be more taking care of yourself and doing as you please. If somebody is not treating you correctly and not giving you the proper recognition, to be quite honest, you don't need to be anywhere near them. If there's any form of your life where you're not getting the fair treatment or being recognized for all the effort you put in, you don't need to be around that entity or place or thing or person at all, because they clearly show that they do not appreciate you. And you know what we do when someone doesn't appreciate you? Toodaloo, prick. True story. Don't let somebody think they can just take you for granted and think that you're always going to be there. No, that's not how somebody should be. If somebody is putting a lot of effort towards you, you kind of should appreciate every breath you take in when you see them. Because in a matter of a second, they could be toodaloo and gone. Or even there might be somebody who you're not giving recognition to, and you may need to consider doing that. At least that's what I got for the whole month of June. For everyone. I'm not going to make the spreads too overly complicated because I have to do a total of 5. Okay. So probably we'll just keep it simple. For the overall general, I'll just do a simplistic cross. So the general theme of the month of June is the idea of appreciation. For general, all purposes, we'll go with 4. Well, Okay, well, the good news is you have two, and yep, one of them's my card, so it looks like somebody's best self is coming in. You have the most flaming king, fire and fire, with the queen that's the most, okay, whatever, I'm not going to say that. She who's most wet, no. Essentially, you have two elements in their prime this month. So you're going to have the ambition this month towards something, but you're also going to be in tune with it. However, though, because since both of these are looking at one another, there's also the in-between that's causing there to be a challenge. And what I'm seeing is that there's a lot of trying to prove and defend and fight for something that clearly deserves just to kick the bucket. It could be something as simple as possibly there's a figure in the life that's thinking that he knows what needs to be done, and he's not allowing himself. He keeps fighting back and trying to defend a false image, but it turns out that he has to have that get overkilled in order for him to actually get to that emotional fulfillment. But nonetheless, I still can't get over how they're kind of like looking at one another. Still cannot get over that. So, but there's an aspect that has to be passed, or like there's something that's not getting put the most effort put in. There really has to be a lot of understanding that if something is really trying hard for something, submit and just let the guard pretty much have the urge to defend yourself. Let your guard finally kick the bucket, and then that's when you'll be able to have both come towards, just like that. However, now here comes the juicy part. Okay. So now for this, we'll go with the singles first. For the single Rammies, or, whatever you deem fit. What we got for them? We got a lot of movement, at least, a lot of communication, a lot of an urge to go out there. Oh, maybe we have something coming to an end. We have the Four of Swords reversed, kicking the bucket, and then coming from that we have the Chariot. So there's going to be a lot of forward movement towards finding somebody this month that has the potential. I'm seeing a very likely possibility of it being either somebody who's primarily air sign related or water sign related. I'm primarily only seeing it be more likely a Scorpio as the most likely sign for it. Likelihood of long term. It'll be long term, and it'll be somebody who's emotionally mature. What's the downside of any? Downside is they act kind of rather spontaneous and unpredictable, but they have the potential to make something long last with you. They have that potential. It's just they gotta, not fall off a cliff. So be on the lookout for this month of June. You might be able to find somebody who is mature in their emotions, but still they can kind of have their child side be apparent. Now, if you're currently with someone, let's see what we got with here. Currently with. we have a disappointment. We have somebody who's kind of dreading the party foul that's happened. But there's somebody kind of obsessing about this horrible depressive state that's happened. Somebody's being a little bit too obsessive about it, but also potentially there could be an instance of somebody betraying somebody that may have happened. Yeah, that's that potential. Or somebody is obsessed because they're not getting a lot of the physical attention that they desire. It could be you, it could be them, but I'm primarily getting it to it actually being the Aries that's going through this, if they're with somebody. And remember, it's not going to resonate with everybody, so woo, deal with it. And, let's see. How do you stand in all this? You stand in this hoping that you would be able to get a chance with this, but now you're kind of like meh with it. Because somebody did a party foul on you and spilled your drinks, and now you're kind of disappointed with them. They're standing in heartbreak because they know that they caused the damage. So, well, I mean, all that can be said is like, well, what did you expect? Is there any kind of resolution to mend this, or is it in want land? Well, if there is potential, it does have the potential to go and be all sweet again. But it's still not going to be give and take fairly. There's still going to be that resentment in there. And then it's going to have to end. But it'll transform into a final decision being made. Best course of action for the Aries. Recover while also not acting rash. So do what you have to do to recover and get yourself back into balance. But don't be brandishing your beating stick too quick. Just as a potential thing. So now we get into the LGBTQIA part, which is just another love reading, but it's primarily focused on that. Well, let's see what comes out. Just make sure, again, you know what your worth is, and you know that you are highly valuable. And if somebody isn't going to give that to you, well, then you don't need to be giving your high value self to them. And it doesn't really matter what they say. It's like, well, you need to give me this. Well, you're not giving it back to me, so why should you get mine? Precisely. Don't give your best self to no one if they won't give you their best self. It doesn't matter who it is. If they don't like it, well, whose fault is that for not doing it right the first time? Oopsie woo. Okay, the singles of LGBTQIA. Let's see what we get here that are Aries. What we got? There we go. We have definitely a lot that you can choose from. You have a lot of sticks to grab. You can take that however you deem fit, honey. Take it, flaunt it, stick it, twerk it, whatever you deem fit. You have a lot of twigs to grab. To choose from. Because, yeah, you have quite the amount of options to choose from regarding the cheesy, woozy woo factor. And you are actually being more reserved, and you're trying to feel out the options, which is actually a really good thing to do. To not jump in face first with it. Coming forwards. We'll go with, let's see what comes out for. Give me one card for each one of those options. 10 possible options. Okay, let's go with it. First option. First option is going to be very closed off and kind of a little bit ironic. They may be very depressed, and they may become very dependent on you, as one option. The second option, we have the Emperor, somebody who thinks he's, thinks he's head honcho and might be a little bit too controlling. Or it may even be an Aries like yourself. Option 3. Option 3 wants to beat, well, not really beat, but you get the idea. They're kind of brandishing their stick too much and they're a little bit too feisty. Fourth, somebody is a little bit they don't like conflict. So they may be overly peaceful, but they also might be very hard on themselves. Fifth, they are still getting over the last person. Sixth, they won't give any love a chance, so there's that option gone. Seventh is not going to be fair. Eighth, kind of will not really stick around and not give you the true emotions that you seek. Ninth, we have the Lovers, so a potential option for that one. And then the King of Cups with another mature option again. If you're single, you have a lot of these options, but you can only decide which one's best for you. But really, the ninth one is probably going to be the best choice. So if you have somebody who's able to give and take properly just fine, that would be your best option. Just make sure you don't take all the sticks at once. That sounds so horrible, but go with it. And now if you're already with someone. This feels so wonky, but we'll flaunt it then. Okay, between Aries and Intended. First card is them, and second card is their Intended. Currently, we have you regenerating and mending yourself, or in a state where you're kind of just relaxing mentally. Not really much going on, just laying down in peace, while they're outside of you, looking at you like, "Are you dead? Hey, are you dead? I hope not. You haven't said anything. Yoo-hoo, wakey wakey. Yo, why you dead?" So, what I'm seeing from this, possibly, there could be someone that you're with, is either you or them. It is trying to get the other person's attention, but they're kind of not able to respond. There might be a communication block. Or there might be a block of emotional connection that's going on. Okay, we had 3 cards just come out. So, what's really giving this thing, the situation, the way that it is, there's a lack of actually making a decision that's actually going to stand the test of time, and it's actually going to be something that's beneficial for both, and it's physical and practical. This decision of choosing which stick to go with, there's that lack of it coming. It's pretty much when it does come around, and it doesn't die. It's like an investment that tries to come forward, but it's toxic every time. So there might be a communication block that's very toxic driven. Like someone's only being around because it's only benefiting them and it's not benefiting the other person. Somebody is feeling very upset because a wish was not being granted. And that wish could have been emotional security. Somebody it could be either you or them is distraught over not having that communication and fearing that the bond between you and the other person is in jeopardy for whatever reason. So kind of consider that not really. Whoever is not being in the present moment, trying to actually make the contact or open up to the other person, if it's either you or them, that's causing immense damage, and that has to stop. And there's really no need for it. If you're with somebody, and if you're emotionally trying to connect to somebody, let them do it. But if you're not able to do it, then just let them know, and then end it there. Don't keep leading them on because it's confrontational. Don't do that, because it's only delaying the inevitable. And you have to really understand your self-worth, because everybody has the right to know that they're valuable and important, but nobody has to go through knowing that they were lied to, saying that they meant something to someone, and then ending up it was a joke all along. That's like one of the worst things you can do to somebody, and that can permanently damage someone. So if that's happening to you, tell that other person to stop it, or they can go piss it. Or if you're doing it to someone else, hey, quit it. It's not cute. It's not funny. It's disgusting. And it doesn't benefit anybody. So don't do it. And really, that's pretty much what I really got for Aries. It's kind of a little bit wonky, I know, because I'm just trying to figure out to get my feel for it. I may change it up a little bit, but still. That's Aries. I might do Taurus later today, if that is it. I don't have, there'd be too much noise coming from all this. I'll be going live again in like another few minutes for the new video title and all that. And I'll probably see what I'll be talking about then. But might be talking about, let's see here. I'll just go live with the topic and we'll go from there.